Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select two or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the PrizePicks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/bluewire and use code BLUEWIRE. That's code BLUEWIRE at prizepicks.com/bluewire for a first deposit match of up to $100. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.
Hello. It's Kirk Henderson and Josh Bowe. It's 10:30 on Wednesday, December 27th, 2022. I'm saying that date and emphasizing it because for those of us who watched this game, who really made a purpose to watch a Mavs-Knicks game in the middle of December, late December, in the middle of the basketball season, we just watched what is not potentially a historic performance. It is the first 60-point triple-double in NBA history. Luka Doncic led the Mavericks in overtime, scored 60 points, grabbed 21 rebounds, and dished 10 assists. Holy shit. Josh.
I don't know. Man, I'm trying to think in terms of because it's not just the points. It's the context of the game, setting it in overtime. They were down 9 points with 34 seconds left. The shot that he made to tie the game, even if you take away the circumstances in which they had to get it, where he had to miss a free throw and they had to get a rebound, the way he caught it in midair and it was in that little 5 to 8 foot range in the NBA where actually guys don't really make shots all that often. And he just nailed it. And just the context of what his teammates were doing in this game. In terms of regular season, I'm not sure if I've seen a more drag a team across the finish line type performance than this. Obviously we've seen playoff performance like LeBron Game 7 against the Warriors. In terms of historical context, probably maybe matters a little more. But man, and just in terms of watching a dude take a basketball team and win a game they had no business winning. I don't know if I've seen anything like this ever. Holy crap.
No, we haven't. The answer is we have not. Okay, because here's the thing. Just as a quick recap of the game, the Mavericks beat the shit out of the Knicks. Basically held them off all night with truly astounding three-point shooting. I want to look at this here. They only finish 16 of 50. But
they missed every shot in the fourth and overtime.
At one point in the third quarter, they were just the Mavericks would dent, the Knicks would answer right back. It felt like an unwinnable game. And there was a point, it was about, I'm looking here in the fourth quarter because I made a tweet about this. 44 seconds left. Julius Randle scores a 2-point shot to put the Mavericks up 110-101. And he scores on a 2-point shot in no small part because Luka threw a shit fit, clamoring for an 8-second call in which, and this is very important, he was wrong. And he was not Randall's man, but basically was screaming at the ref. So Randall barrels down the lane and scores on an easy layup. And I tweeted something out to the effect that if Luka Doncic put half the effort that he did into bitching into defense, he'd be an MVP player, which that's just going to live in my mentions till the end of time because the Mavericks were down 9 points because Luka scored a layup right after that. 33 seconds left. Miles McBride makes a pair of free throws, puts them up 112-103. We all start talking about coverage. Okay, well, how are we going to cover this game? Yada, yada, yada. Christian Wood makes a 3-point shot 7 seconds later. Then Luka Doncic makes a 2-point shot because Quentin Grimes turns the ball over. Like Luka just takes it from him. So with 15 seconds left, it's 112 to 108. On that Luka 2-point shot, Emmanuel quickly fouls him. So Luka hits the free throw, down by 3. Knicks take a full timeout, and it's like, oh brother, what is happening? The Mavericks foul Miles McBride. He misses 1 of 2. Miles McBride makes the second of 2. Really felt like an important shot. There's 11 seconds left on the clock. Spencer Dinwiddie, who is not going to get near enough credit, we're going to talk about him, obviously, but Spencer Dinwiddie answers at 9 seconds left. So 2 seconds go off the shot clock because the Mavericks call a timeout. They get to advance the ball. Spencer Dinwiddie hits a 3-point shot because the Knicks basically are like, fuck, we're going to guard Luka. So Spencer just like, it was like watching a 90s Nebraska option where just the defense goes totally at Luka except for one guy. Spencer makes a tough shot that puts it at down by 1 with 9 seconds left. Miles McBride again gets fouled. He makes both free throws. Shout out to that guy. And then why don't you take it from there, because you had a better look at this than I did, because my dog was going nuts.
Yeah, so the Knicks intentionally foul Luka with about 4 seconds left. It was actually like really well done. Like they let Luka cross half court. They let some, like it was 7 seconds left, I think, or whatever it was, and they let some time run off. They fouled him right before he could get into his gather for a step back. And honestly, I thought that was the game, just because there's no Luka either makes 2 free throws and then you have to do like basically a half court or 3/4 court heave to tie or win the game, or you have to do the ridiculous, which is miss a free throw and then get the ball in the basket. And of course, Luka misses a free throw. And what's crazy is the Knicks had 2 guys, like the ball bounced to 2 Knicks players. I think it was Grimes.
We hit the first one, right?
Right, he did hit the first one, but he had to miss. But they decided to miss the second. They put in JaVale McGee. Because they have no timeouts and there's 4 seconds left. So if you don't, if you make it, the Knicks are probably shooting free throws with like 3 seconds left, and then what are you going to do? Even if the Knicks miss both, you're basically going to have to do a heave at the end of the buzzer. So your chances are basically nil to win the game. So Luka makes the first. They didn't put in McGee to get the offensive rebound. He misses it. It kind of gets batted by the bigs, and then like seriously, it lands right in between Grimes and I think Quickly. And there's no one around them, by the way. There's no one like pushing them, shoving them, like contesting them. It is an uncontested rebound for the most part. And those 2 guys come together and basically volleyball bump the ball into the air as they both try to grab it at the same time. It falls right into Luka's hands. Luka jumps, catches the ball in one motion before he lands, shoots a little awkward 8-foot teardrop floater, ties the game with a second left. Knicks no timeouts, goes to OT. And then, I mean, that was like, I don't know. I know you said you weren't watching, you were chasing.
No, I was watching, but okay. It was like, I wasn't going to do it justice.
Right. But there's the arena, like that game was over. There was, I would have bet my life savings the Mavericks were winning in overtime. Like, I don't know how the Knicks were going to respond to that. And they responded to that by basically doing nothing. They made 2 shots.
Nobody had anything left.
Yeah, everyone
That's
was
what really sticks with me.
Yeah, and of course, the Mavericks made 1 field goal in overtime. It was Luka. Luka scored 7 of their 11 overtime points. 5 free throw. He went 5 of 6 from the free throw line. I think he made his final 4 also. Which, I mean, considering the struggles that he's gone through at the free throw line,
I mean, 16 of 22. He was still less than 75%.
Right. So he wasn't having a good night at the Stripes. So that had to be those free throws he was shooting toward the end of the game. That has to be the most tired he's ever been in an athletic competition. And he was able to sink those free throws. And that's impressive. That just kind of adds to like the magic of the night and that just how incredible he was. I mean, it was absurd. Mavericks team record beats Dirk's 53-point game back in I think 2005. Don't know if we'll ever see another game, not just from a Maverick, not just from Luka, but just from a player in the league. And I'm not sure if we'll ever see.
Well, nobody's ever done a 60-point triple-double. And Wilt Chamberlain just, like, when you go look at NBA history stuff, Wilt Chamberlain just exists in all of this stuff. And it's, like, kind of uncomfortably weird where you go in there and it's like, oh, okay, well, Wilt's going to be there because Wilt's, you know, he scored 100 points in a game. Like, that's the thing that happened. It's, you know, we do this night in and night out. And there are nights where we get together and there's one, you know, you and I always find stuff to talk about, but like as a group, there's just a grind of NBA where you miss a night and you shouldn't feel bad about it because there's 82 games. But if there was ever a reminder of why you tune in every night to watch a one-of-one basketball player, this is it.
Yes. I also, unfortunately, I had a friend that was at the game. People left. A lot of people left with a minute when they were up 9 with 34 seconds left. Like he said, a lot of people. And like, can you imagine by the time you get to your car and turning the radio on and just hearing that? Like, that's crazy to me. I don't know. Like, I get leaving games early when it's over, kind of. But like, if you've already gotten to like a minute left, just wait till the final buzzer. Like, how much traffic are you really going to save by doing that? But that's besides the point. I mean, that's
sure. I mean, I was ready.
Crazy.
That was why I was like, I was ready to get going. Like, can we do this for work?
I mean, we were about to get on here and roast this team, right? I mean, this was going to be
it wasn't a roast.
Terrible
it's
loss.
Like I think, you know, and that's where I think that's actually a pretty good pivot point to talk about the game. Without their three best defenders are hurt.
Yes. And
at a certain point in time, that was going to catch up with them. The annual Julius Randle comes to Dallas and kicks the shit out of Dallas game it was on full force. I mean, what did he do tonight? Like, he had an outstanding game.
29, 18, and
foul
4.
trouble.
Yeah, 29, 18, and 4.
Man, I mean,
and you think about the guys that are hurt, like Dorian and Maxey are the two guys that would, you know, Reggie is a good defender, but they put him more on guards than big beefy forwards. So yeah, they had that's why Dwight Powell started like with Christian Wood. It was kind of a weird game and a weird lineup throughout the night.
And it was one of those things where if you're like watching live, I found myself not frustrated because, you know, second chance points were probably wildly off. I'm having a hard time finding. I don't think ESPN keeps track of second chance. It's probably on NBA.com.
Knicks had 17 offensive rebounds. So
it's like, you come in here and like, I was honestly ready to say, okay, this is an example of what happens when, you know, 3 of your rotation players are hurt. And instead, Luka just sort of willed them through it because, again, Luka having a triple-double in this game was borderline miraculous because the Mavericks, you know, and again, I like Reggie, Jesus Christ, my guy, 1 of 7 from 3. All of his looks were wide open. And this game might not have gone to overtime if some of these guys would hit threes. I mean, Tim Hardaway was terrible from distance, 3 of 11.
Can I give you my Tim Hardaway stat of the night?
Yes, you tweeted this, made my life.
So since November 15th, the Mavericks have only won 2 games in which Tim Hardaway Jr. has shot below 40% on his three-pointers. In those 2 wins, Luka Doncic has averaged 55 points, 14.5 rebounds, and 10 assists per game. Because the only other game was the 50-point game against Houston that the Mavericks won. So there you go, man. If Tim isn't hitting his threes, you just need Luka to play like a video game character with all the difficulty settings turned down.
This is advertiser content brought to you by Frito-Lay.
Hello, I'm Chip Murphy, here to get you ready for the big tournament. Tonight we'll break down who will be cutting. Cut! What are you two doing?
Sorry, Chip. Prez here got his feathers ruffled when I told him Ruffles has 0 chance of winning the title.
And I was letting Dip know that she is not taking into account Ruffles' iconic ridges.
Guys, it's March. We have to start talking about the tournament.
We are. It is the 2023 Frito-Lay Snack It.
We're talking about big-time matchups between Cheetos, Smart Food, Lay's, Sun Chips, and more.
Just head to the Frito-Lay Snack Bracket and vote for your favorite chip, pretzel, or dip for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks.
This sounds great. Keep up the good work.
Just go to fritolaysnackit.sbnation.com. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends 4/3/2023. Void where prohibited. Year's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for one bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnackit.sbnation.com.
I'm out of and I've been thinking about this all day because, as usual, discourse online gets a little weird because the 77 minutes in heaven, guys. So Tim Cato, our guy Austin, both of them used to work here. Dave Dufour and Mike Palucci had a truly wonderful podcast, like one of my favorite Mavs-based podcasts, because they talk about all sorts of there's predictions, there's looks ahead, there's looks back, there's honest, open, naked criticism of this team that I don't hear very many places. And I was kind of ready to come into this game because their essential the conclusion they came to is not that dissimilar than what we come to, which is Luka's really fun. They are very limited. And so you come into this game and you're just ready to watch it. And it's just like, okay, well, this is just going to be this way this year. And instead what's happened twice now with these 50-point Luka games is like, oh, Luka's really good at basketball. And it should be obvious, but you missed the first quarter, I think. Luka's body language was terrible.
Oh yeah. I mean, I caught some of it, and this was one of his bitchiest games I've seen in a while. The first,
and that's why it's like, because I got and I get into these Twitter because I talk to everybody. You always laugh at me because I respond to everyone, but I love talking with people, and people get so upset whenever you're like, Luka needs to do this thing better. It's like both these things can be true, but what was particularly funny tonight is that they won in spite of him really having a tough game talking at everyone, because he was talking a lot. He still went to the line 22 times. I mean, it's really something.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it's kind of crazy. And then, we would have come into this game, Matt, because the Knicks are above 500, but the Knicks didn't have Jalen Brunson, and RJ Barrett got hurt in the first 2 minutes of this game. So if they would have lost this game, with what's his face?
They were down bad.
Yeah. Miles McBride playing 46 minutes and you lose.
I don't know who Miles McBride is.
I don't know.
I feel okay saying that.
I know. Quentin Grimes drops 33 on you. I like Quentin Grimes, but come on, this would have been a game that added to the pile of wow, this team is just Jekyll and Hyde. They just they just can't get it. But I guess they were. I mean, this is payback for the Thunder loss in terms of the basketball cosmos. So we can no longer complain about that Thunder loss because this game happened. The universe is balanced, like all things should be. But man, I don't know. And you think about how huge this win is because their next 3 games are Houston. Or their next 2 games are what? Houston, San Antonio, right?
Yep. Well, now we're all joking because we're all sickos. Where it's like, well, Luka's going to sit.
Oh, yeah, probably. Right? Maybe.
I don't think they can. They don't have any players.
That's true. If Green and Dorian and everyone was healthy, that makes sense. Oh, man, I forgot. They got 2 Houston, San Antonio, Houston. So that should be 3 more wins. They're going to be, what would that be? They'd be 22-16 on January 5th. So, losing this game would have, you don't want that to steamroll into another losing spell. So, I mean, every game is huge. When you start the season 15-16 or whatever in the Western Conference, you need to start winning some basketball games if you want to move up the standings. So,
well, now I need to look at the standings. So I haven't even looked at it yet. My voice is, I don't even know why. It's yelling to myself on the couch hysterically. The Mavericks they're 7th in the West now.
They're dangerously close to the top.
They're 3.5 games back from first. And, with the way things are going, they could be in first at some point. And I'm going to feel really conflicted. I'm just, I've listened to all these shows. Everyone that is a rational viewer of this team understands that this team is just exceptionally limited, not bad, limited. They don't really have any other ways that they can win. Their ways that they can win are the team shoots well from three. Luka goes berserk.
Did you see the new chart?
Ooh, there's a new chart.
Yeah, look in our random Slack. It's basically they took the Tim Hardaway shoot 40% from three. Yes, Dallas wins. But then for no, there's an additional. Did Luka score 50? Yes, Dallas wins. No, Dallas loses.
I mean, this is crazy. Here's McMahon tweet. NBA teams were 0 and 13,884 in the last 20 seconds when trailing by 9 with 35 or fewer remaining.
Yeah, so what was the tweet?
The Thunder one was like 0 and 2000.
Yeah. Wow. This team, man.
Cool.
That discourse column I wrote in November is like the most evergreen thing I think I've ever written in my entire life.
This is going to be amazing.
I cannot believe it. People are just
checking my mentions and people are mad at me about this tweet. I love it. It's
like
I love this shit where it's like, yes, you're mad. Like, come on. I want the Mavericks to win. Shut the fuck up. Like, people. That's what I told one person who's like, what do you think about this now? And I'm like, come on, man. This is so much better.
Right. Like people think you're like mad that they want like
a new chart for you. This is amazing. This is so great.
I don't know what else to say. It's just,
well, it's good because you know what, if they win these next three, they're going to be on a piping hot 7-game win streak, which frankly they need something just so that they can believe. Okay. And Luka has this tendency to play down in bad games, which he was sort of playing down. I think he was up to play Brunson. And then when Brunson got declared out last minute, took the wind out of his sails.
Right. It just I don't know what to say other than through three quarters. I mean, through 47 minutes of basketball, this looked like the team that just can't get over the hump of 500 and just inconsistent play and role players not making wide open shots and all that kind of stuff. And then Luka, man, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen, because if they do win these next three games and they are 22-16, they are going to be probably near fourth place, right? Like they're a game and a half out of fourth right now. If they get three more wins in a row, they will absolutely be either in fourth place or like behind it.
Yeah, in the top six, for sure.
So I'm curious. They're basically going to jump from 11th place to fourth or fifth in about a week or so. And I'm wondering, we've heard reporting about the Mavericks from Tim McMahon and some other NBA connected sources, when that team, when they were 15-16, when they were 16-16, that they might be feeling the pressure to make a move to secure their place in the top six.
Yep.
So that they avoid the play-in tournament. And I'm curious what this win streak is going to do, because I'm wondering, like, do they tap the brakes? Do they then look at this and go, okay, we're back on track. We don't need to make a reactionary move. Let's stick to the plan of just waiting this out and save our assets for whenever we can make another big move later. Like, I think that's going to be very curious. Like, I could honestly see this front office after a 7-game winning streak being like, okay, no need to hit the panic button. We don't need to make a move. But the way that they're winning these games, like, are they looking at this and being like, holy crap, like, we needed Luka to have the most historic game in NBA history to beat a Knicks team without two of their best players at home? Like, we got to get him some help. Let's get this guy. The time is now. Like, does that push them in further? So it's going to be a very a very interesting couple of months.
Man, I hope nothing happens, because it's like we didn't really get to talk about him enough, and I want to go because I'm tired. I got to do the live show.
Yeah,
I don't have to. I want to.
Yeah.
But like Spencer Dinwiddie as tall Steph Curry has been preposterous. Like, the dude took so many threes tonight. He took 8 threes, hit 3 of them, and was huge. Him and Luka had 85 of the Mavericks 126. Yeah, they only had 4 people score in double digits.
Yeah, I need to I need to write about Spencer because like the 3-point shooting thing is like, it's for real, man. Like, I don't know what else to say. I don't know if it's going to last more than this season, but for this season, like, dude is a career, what, like 30 or 33% 3-point shooter. And now he's shooting basically 42% on the most attempts in his career, like per game. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. He's career 33% 3-point shooter. I mean, I know a lot of people we talked about when he got traded here that were like, okay, don't look at his Washington, like that's an outlier. Look at what he did in Brooklyn. He can be a productive player if he brings that production here. He was shooting 32% on threes in Brooklyn. And I mean, I think his catch and shoot rate in Brooklyn was 37%. Dude, he's shooting 60% on corner threes now. Like,
that's not a thing. Like, I don't know how to contextually put that. Like, that's not a thing.
Yeah. Like, imagine if he was shooting 32%.
He doesn't shoot that on layups, I promise you.
He did miss a couple of corner threes after I tweeted he was shooting 62% on corner threes, so he might not be, but he's still probably the league leader. Like, it's insane. Like, seriously, where would this team be if he was shooting like 34% from three, which would be like an acceptable number for him? Like, I don't know. It's crazy. They just, if that has to be like put on all the packages for whenever the Mavericks makes pitch to free agents, and it's like, guys, just freaking look at this. You're going to be shooting practice jumpers for the rest of your life. If you play for the Dallas Mavericks, please play on this team. They need to be writing up those pamphlets right now.
Well, we'll be back because the Mavericks play twice more before New Year's somehow.
They do.
I think they do. I should know this. I run a Mavs website.
Twice more before New Year's?
Am I making that up?
Yeah, they play the 29th and the 31st.
Yeah, today's only Tuesday. I said Thursday, it was Wednesday. Saturday. I don't know what's wrong with me. So they play Thursday, then they play Saturday. So we'll be back on Thursday, and hopefully with not a show that causes, like some shout out to Mark Cuban. May that man, like he looked like he was about to die. He was all of us. Respect, because that
would have been an awful loss, man.
Yeah. So no, for sure.
Thank God for Luka.
Okay, guys, check us out. Wait for the live show that'll be coming out. You should also be like following me on Spotify Live. Like, yeah, I run the Spotify Live, but I really want like fans to come up and talk. We have a great time with it. If you've never done it, I call up new people first. I want to have fun with this. Please come hang out. It's a great time. We'll be on, regularly after most games. Check out MavsMoneyball.com. We're going to hammer this because this is going to be one of the biggest games we have all year. Thanks for hanging out with Josh and I, and we will see you guys on Thursday.